And how is it going, everybody, on this perfectly normal, nothing unusual happening in the world of Star Wars Thursday night? Just ready to have some casual expanded universe conversation. Gonna talk about some Legends merch. And that's it. Nothing else. Nothing else to get excited about in the world of Star Wars. Of course, there's no December, no big holiday Christmas movie, holiday Star Wars movie this year, holiday Christmas movie. What am I? Just trying to be extra redundant up in here. No, there's no Star Wars movie to wait in line for in the cold and you can't get together with your friends to go to the movies this year. No. However, what we do have is an incredibly robust set of announcements tonight, and who missed out on all of it and was just in time to do this podcast. And he showed up and I say, so what'd you think about it all? Is my buddy, my friend and yours, Freddy C. How's it going, Freddy?
It's going, man. I was working all day today. It was a pretty busy day, and I knew something was happening when I saw about maybe 10 to 20 wows from Meg in the chat.
Wow. Yeah.
So, I'm pretty excited to, a lot of it is, Legends is still seeping through.
That's right. You can't kill this stuff. You can't get rid of us if you tried. The only one who has the power to get rid of us is Corey Helton himself. And try as he might, we're still here every Thursday night at 9:30. What is this? Eastern. Legends Lookback on twitch.tv/Utini_US. And it's convenient that our show starts so late on Thursday, isn't it, Freddie? Especially considering that all of this news broke after we had a perfectly ironed out, buttery smooth intro. We were going to talk about Goodreads challenges. I was going to talk about my book count of how many books I'd read this year, as if we're going to talk about that after this day of announcements. Chief among them, Freddie, you want to tell everybody what's the most exciting Legends thing people should be excited about after tonight's announcements? And we had a lot of announcements, but there's really one.
There's
cake, isn't there?
There's one that got me to, thankfully it was my Utini fam that got me caught up with all the news.
That's right.
Specifically, Jared.
I said, we're not going to start the show till you watch this video, Freddie.
Yeah. And it was the Rogue Squadron movie, of course, right? I'm assuming it's a movie.
It looks like it's a movie.
I want it to be a series. That way it just keeps on going and keeps on giving.
Right.
But that was so exciting. If there was anything that got me really excited, it was that for sure.
We kind of had some rumors happening throughout the week. We might have this, might have that, might have an Ahsoka show announced, might have a Rian Johnson movie announced. Probably going to get more info on the Cassian Andor series or the Bad Batch. And we got that stuff, minus the Rian Johnson. We don't talk about him on this podcast. However, we're fans and all that. One thing we didn't see coming, though, was this announcement. And there's this video. My wife and I, we've been out, our family been out looking at some Christmas lights. So stay in your car, keep your mask on, windows up. Everybody's contained. Christmas lights festival in the town next door. I knew that these announcements were breaking. On the way back, I finally had to say, Rebecca, would you pull out my phone and please just read me everything in the Slack? Just read it all. And she said, hold on. There's a video. It's got Patty Jenkins. I'm watching it. And I said, no, don't watch it. I'm driving. And I could just hear everything happening. And when she said these words, I'm going to make the best starfighter pilot movie ever made, I screamed at the top of my lungs. In fact, my kids spent the rest of the drive home just pleading for me to stop screaming. That's how excited I was, Freddie. Do you believe me? Or do you believe me?
No, I definitely believe you, yeah.
Let me ask you this before we move on. Obviously there's endless possibilities with a Rogue Squadron movie. First of all, we might get some Rogue Squadron books. That'd be pretty cool. We're going to have some tie-in material. It's really exciting. Shout out to Frank in the Slack for pointing out that maddening fact. It's going to keep me awake all night. But also this, hey, it's probably not going to happen, but a man can dream, can't he? What do you think the chances are, Freddie, that we're going to have a character in this movie named Corran Horn?
Oh, man, I really hope it happens. I really do.
I do too.
I think if that's one of the things that I would solidify that and we didn't get any naked palps, but there's still time, I guess. But that and inserting Corran Horn into canon would be the ultimate Legends push, in my opinion.
Even if it's just like a throwaway line in like the visual guide, that would be enough for me. However, I honestly, the movie coming from Patty Jenkins, would like to see a more female-centric Rogue Squadron movie. Obviously, there's some really cool ladies in the X-Wing books. We got Yella and Mirax and Irisi, and there's a good crew of them, but they're pretty Ando-centric books, right? You've got your Wedge and your Tycho and your Corran Horn, your Noara Ven. I would like to see a more ladies-focused Rogue Squadron series, but I've got to say, I'm aiming high for Corran Horn. Let me ask you this, Freddie. Fan cast with me for 2 minutes. Who is playing Corran Horn in the upcoming Rogue Squadron movie directed by Patty Jenkins?
I was gonna say myself, but I'm gonna go with I would. I'd like to see. For some reason, I want to see Keanu Reeves in some sort of Corran Horn position.
Oh my goodness. Keanu Reeves is Corran. That blows my expectations out of the water. I'm going a drastically different direction, Freddie. One of two ways. One, would like to see a really derpy Corran Horn, like a Corran Horn that's extremely self-aware, like Josh Gad as Corran Horn, or something like that. Hey, Josh Gad, Rogue Squadron fan. Hey, he's got like one of the top comments on the Patty Jenkins video on Twitter. He'd be down for it. He would be. Or maybe Josh Gad is like the grandson of Porkins. Am I right?
Oh gosh.
Or we go a totally different direction, like a Corran Horn who's super cocky, super arrogant, easy to hate. Somebody like Chad Michael Murray. You know what I mean? For some 2000s angst, get somebody like him. It's got to be somebody who's just extremely agitating.
I'm gonna revise my fan casting and say Michael Cera.
Oh my goodness. He would be fun in this movie. I don't know if I'd want him as Corran, but have him as like kind of like a budding pilot who's just trying to cut his teeth on the squad. He's like new to the team and just saw some kind of a Twitch notification there. What did it say, Freddie? Could you see it?
I didn't see it. Sorry.
Let's see if I can find it. Whoever it was that just did something, we appreciate having you here with us. Thanks for the bits or the subscribe or the follow. Or it's my brother, Justin. Justin just followed. So awesome. Glad to have you here with us. Let's see. I can finally see the chat now. That's fun. Welcome everybody who's here with us tonight live on Legends Lookback. We've got Andrew says Rainn Wilson as Corran Horn would be amazing. Cheryl says she'd like to see Keanu Reeves as Revan, which I agree. However, not in this movie. Chris Evans is what Andrew says. Now, Andrew, that's an excellent choice. However, for me, canonically, Chris Evans is Tycho. So, it's going to be hard to beat that in my mind.
I like that.
Obviously, I don't want this to be an exact adaptation of the Rogue Squadron books. You can make it like half adaptation, half going in a new direction just to keep it fresh, keep it fun. Yeah. Either way, in case you can't tell, like my heart is racing just thinking about all of this. How about you, Freddie?
Yeah, I was gonna say the anticipation is high. I'm really glad to see it. I hope it exceeds my expectations. I'm gonna keep them moderate. I don't want to look too far into it. I don't want to spoil myself, but I'm pretty excited.
Now I see Spiced in the chat says, how do you feel about the T70 in the logo? And Spiced in, I've got to say, I have no idea what you're talking about, and I'm excited to find out after the show. So in the meantime, we've got tons of fun Legendsy stuff tonight. Now, the other day I had a long conversation with my brother about what we're going to be getting each other for the holidays. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to answer that question. Instead, watch the podcast and get some ideas. Watch the live show. We're going to be talking about the best merch you could want or ask for or give to a friend who likes Star Wars, or hey, even one who doesn't, especially when it comes to the fun, obscure, outdated, expanded universe that we know and love as Legends. So without further ado, let's kick it off. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Legends Lookback, a show brought to you by Utini.com, a show that's been described as a Star Wars podcast you wish you could have listened to on your Sony Walkman, where we talk about all things Star Wars Legends, celebrating our rich EU history, as well as diving into lesser-known Star Wars classics. I'm your host, Jared Mays, and today, once again, I'm joined by the great and legendary Freddie C. himself. How are you, Freddie?
I'm doing great, man. It was It was a rough day, but after the news, I'm doing fantastic.
That's right. We got a lot of fun stuff to celebrate here tonight. In case you're not with us live, didn't hear that, the pre-intro to the intro. Why do we have so many intros? You should hear my sermons if you think I've got a lot of intros on this podcast. I'll tell you that much. Sometimes I just go full Michael Scott, and I've got 2 or 3 ideas. Just use all 3 of them. Hello, and I'm Michael Scott, and this is my presentation. Anyway, of course, as we get going with all this, we had all this new news about new Disney Plus shows and movies and animated this, and whew, what a night to be a Star Wars fan. We're going to set all of that aside for the rest of the night, and we are going to help Santa fill your stockings with the best Legendsy gear there's ever been. Here in the holiday season, of course, it seems like there's endless possibilities for giving and receiving, with Star Wars merchandise flying off the shelves and special offers hitting your email inboxes and Instagram ads. So we are here to help you sort through the nonsense and the worst Star Wars gifts you could possibly be given or accidentally give to somebody. Remember one year my in-laws bought me Star Wars jelly beans. Why is that even a thing? Why? Hey, you don't have to give Star Wars jelly beans for the holidays this year. Instead, we're going to help give you fun ideas from books to lightsabers to action figures to, hey, some off-the-wall stuff you never saw coming. But before we do, tonight I'm also joined by, well, the savior of the show, our producer, the queen of legends, Meg. How are you doing, Meg?
What is up? I'm great. I'm excited.
It has been quite the day to be a Star Wars fan.
A woman
Isn't
is
it, Meg?
directing a Star Wars movie. It is a good day.
I'll say this much on the feminist angle. My wife actually shared the Patty Jenkins video to social media before I had a chance to. That's how excited she was. And she has gone on record saying she would rather me have a socks podcast, like the things you put on your feet, than have a Star Wars podcast. She's so tired of Star Wars. And yet she shared them and she was so excited. It's pretty thrilling, isn't it, Meg?
It is. It'll be really good.
Yeah, no matter what. Just that trailer was already better than half the Star Wars movies, don't you think?
Yeah.
Don't know if that's true. Unbelievable. My wife didn't tell me until I finally got home and had the chance to watch it myself. She didn't tell me about the ending where Patty Jenkins puts on the helmet and then the orange flight suit and walks up to the X-Wing. Yeah. I mean, whew, I'm getting sweaty up in here in Legends Lookback. Well, Meg, we always like to start the show by talking about our recent acquisitions. Meg, you love to fill your shelves with Star Wars books. You got anything new this week to talk about?
Nothing within reach, but I did I got the new lightsaber collection book, the one that's like shaped like it's like this, so that
sucker is beautiful. It is gorgeous.
It's amazing, and I can't wait to like actually look through it and look at everyone's lightsabers. And I got a lot of books this week, so I'm trying to like remember if there's anything else, but that one definitely stuck out to me. I don't know how I'm gonna fit it on my shelves. It's weirdly shaped, which some Star Wars books are, but
yeah, they are, and it's irritating. It's absolutely maddening.
Yep.
Let me ask you this, Meg. One important question about the lightsaber book: does it have the dark saber?
You know what? I'm sure if it does, and I find it, you will know.
You don't even know.
I don't know.
I
haven't looked. I haven't looked at it yet.
See, that's the problem when you buy too many Star Wars books. You don't even know what's in your Star Wars books.
Exactly.
Freddie, I saw you excitedly jump up out of your chair and go get something. What you got for us, Freddie?
I surprisingly don't have this book yet. It's one that I've been wanting to get, and I finally found it at my local bookstore. And smells like the 90s.
He sniffed it. For our audio listeners, he sniffed it. He said it smells like the 90s.
It's the let me just read the title. It's the Tales of the Bounty Hunters.
Oh, Bounty Hunters.
Sure if you can see the cover.
Wonderful. There. Yeah, I've read a couple stories from it. I haven't read the whole thing. Would love to get into it.
Yeah, it's definitely
especially relevant since we just had the return of a legendary character. We'll say that much in Disney Plus TV show. In case you've been buried under a rock, I'm gonna spoil it here. All right, you got 10 seconds to escape if you don't want to be spoiled for season 2 of The Mandalorian. It's Boba Fett. Boba Fett's back.
Yep.
Boba Fett, where? He's on The Mandalorian. So, Freddie, how excited are you?
Very excited. There's the whole camp of is he still alive? It's finally, hopefully, it's finally settled. Yeah. We've got our answer.
That's right, and it was excellently done.
It was excellently done, and in my opinion, it was probably the best way to do it, which is he sees some other Mandalorian take his armor.
That's right.
So
No, it's incredibly well done. Well, we'll talk about that. We could have a whole Boba Fett episode, and we will. Don't you worry. We'll have multiple Boba Fett episodes. Fettisodes, in fact, is what we'll have. I got a new book this week. Went to, and by new book, I mean so old that the pages are literally, I don't know if they're brown or they're yellow, but they're definitely not white. I'll tell you that much. I got the Sci-Fi Book Club edition hardback of Darth Maul Shadowhunter.
Oh,
Absolutely one of my favorite
yeah.
Legends books. And the reason I say it is the Sci-Fi Book Club edition is because it's about this much shorter than all the rest of my Legends hardcovers. Speaking of books of odd sizes. So I would be frustrated if I wasn't so incredibly delighted because I am so happy to have this bad boy. I think I paid
That's awesome.
$3 for it. Yeah, very excited for sure. And it's definitely wafting off a smell. So I'm going to stick it right back over there as well. We obviously have some fun stuff that we're showing off here on Legends Lookback, but you know what? By the time this month is over, you might have some fun stuff to show off as well, especially if you share this video or this podcast episode with the loved ones in your life who, you know what? If you're tired of the loved ones in your life getting you pajama pants and socks every year for the holidays, this is the episode to share with them. If you're worried about getting another coffee mug, you'll be left with one heck of a wish list and an empty bank account. Definitely one or the other, if not both, before we're done here tonight on the ultimate Legends holiday gift guide. So start us off, Freddy. Kick us off with our first category tonight is one thing that you might be able to get with your leftover gift cards, or of course, something you could get for the Legends fan in your life is some Star Wars art. Specifically in the realm of Legends, we've got just a couple of pieces we want to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good Legends art. Everything that I have, all the art that I have is still considered Legends art, in my opinion. It's all original trilogy, usually has vehicles of some sort, but there's one artist in particular that it looks like you have him on here as well.
That's right.
Tsuneo Sanda, who's his Japanese influence on his art and Star Wars is very interesting because he combines both of them together. And I'll post it to the Discord, but there's a lot of really good art out there for Legends, especially when you look at the Essential Guide, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's tons of original artwork in that.
Yeah, and I'll let you take over because you've also got his name down here, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's right. My favorite piece of Legends art, and a piece that I have had in my Amazon shopping cart for literally months and haven't pulled the trigger on because I'm a little frugal. All right, I might have over 400 Star Wars books, but I'm a little frugal when it comes to my fandom. I don't always just pull the trigger immediately. This is a celebratory art piece done by Tsuneo Sanda to celebrate the Dark Horse Comics rich history in Star Wars storytelling. This was done in 2007. Meg, do we have this one to show off? If not, I'll post it in the Discord. This piece, of course, celebrates everything from like the old school days of the Rogue Squadron comics. It's got characters from the Tales of the Jedi series that I love. It's got half bald Nomi Sunrider. that I absolutely love. Here we go. Absolutely love the look that she's got going. We've got Cade Skywalker as shirtless as Jedi Master Jaruus Sabayoth right there, front and center on here. Absolutely gorgeous piece of art. Who else? We got Darth Krayt on here. We've got some of the legacy characters. I mean, you could scour this thing for ages and still be picking up characters. Got tons of characters from John Jackson Miller's Knights of the Old Republic series. I need to make sure I give them a shout out for Skooma Joe. It's his favorite series. I mean, it's got everything. I just spend, I don't know how many hours of my life I've wasted just looking into the Rancor's nostrils on this piece of art. Anyway, it's like $11 on Amazon. I'm going to be putting a lot of these links in the show notes for our YouTube and audio listeners as well. If you'd like to be able to pick some of these up, throw Utini a few credits on most of these things. We'll have affiliate links, though not on everything. Freddy, how proud would Thrawn be of this piece of art?
He would be so grateful that he could decipher every single one of those characters' background and strategy just by looking at them.
That's right. I mean, it's not just characters either. We've got countless ships on this thing too.
You've got ships and you've got creatures. You've got everything.
Yeah. I mean, what is that riding a Rancor? Is that Asajj Ventress riding a Rancor?
It might be. It looks
I
like it.
think it is.
It is. It
No
definitely
way. Asajj Ventress riding a Rancor. That's not what I had no idea that my Thursday night needed Asajj Ventress riding a Rancor, but it did. And we're all better off for it, aren't we? Okay,
That's awesome.
what else is on our list? Of course, there's only just a couple that we've mentioned there in terms of Legends art. If you have some favorite Legends art, let us know and throw it in the Discord. We'd love to see what you have in mind, what's on your wish list, and maybe your secret Sabaoth will get it for you for the holiday. Next up under the categories is maybe the most obvious, and that's Legends books. Now, we're not just going to list off every Legends book that we own or want or have thought about buying or are probably going to buy. All right, otherwise this episode would be, well, longer than I've got battery life in my camera. Though I do have a backup. I'll say this much, though. Each one of us on the show tonight is going to go around the table, and we're going to list one Legends book that we would like to add to our collection that is not currently in the collection. Meg, would you want to start us off? What's one Legends book that's your pick for the holidays?
Yeah. So I checked my shelves and I have the first X-Wing book, Rogue Squadron.
Okay.
I think I'm going to need some more of those. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
Yep.
Now with the X-Wing books, there's what? 4 Rogue Squadron books, followed by 3 Wraith Squadron books, followed by 2 more non-sequential Rogue Squadron books that are both standalone stories / return to the first 4 books in the series. And then after 10, 20 years, they went back and wrote one more Wraith Squadron book about the next generation of Wraiths. So that's confusing. If you're just looking to get the canonical, and by canonical, I mean Legends, Rogue Squadron stories, you really need the first 4 books and then Isard's Revenge and Starfighters of Adamar, right? Freddie, you think that's fair? Or should I just read all 10 books, right?
Why not?
Yeah,
why not?
Just read all 10. And we'll see if we can find a link for this. Meg, did you know that at least the original, the 90s X-Wing books, they're all available in one massive Kindle book for like $45. You can get all 9 of them.
Of course they are. And of course I'm going to get that.
It's awesome. I mean, it's a great way if you're just looking to say, like, all right, I'm going to read all the Rogue Squadron books before this movie comes out. You can grab that Kindle book I'll see if I can find a link. What you got, Freddie? What's on your wish list when it comes to Legends books? Great pick.
Ruins.
Meg. Great pick.
Ruins.
Everybody give Meg a round
a
round of applause. I'm ruining Freddie's answer.
No, that's cool. I want to buy Ruins of Dantooine for everybody.
For everybody. Now, okay, this is crazy. But this week, I did go down the rabbit hole trying to find out if Ruins of Dantooine has ever been released as a hardback. Because I was trying to make a list of all the Legends hardbacks that I don't yet own. I've got all but like 5 or 6 of the paperbacks. And as far as I know, there's not a hardback. Do you know of one, Freddie?
No, I don't know of a hardback. It's probably the only one I know of. Well, one of the only ones I know of that does not come in a hardback. At least I have never seen it.
Yeah, not that I know of either, not even a Sci-Fi Book Club edition. So that's what I would like. I would like for Santa to make one in his toy workshop and send that to Freddie for the holidays.
That'd be fantastic.
Got a couple of fun picks in the chat. Rob Nee says Isard's Revenge, or if you're, how do you say it, Freddie? Don't you say Isard differently? You say
I'm pretty sure I say Isard.
Isard, yeah, sure.
Isan Isard.
Spice then says he doesn't have Heir to the Empire. So you should probably get around to that at some point. I own Heir to the Empire. I've got the 20th anniversary edition hardback. I've got the original first printing hardback. I've got it in paperback without the Legends banner, mind you. And I've got it in Kindle and on Audible. So if we're playing Heir to the Empire, bingo. Am I right?
Yeah.
My pick for tonight in terms of one Legends book I would like to have that I don't have yet, and of course one that everybody should want to have, I found is one that I think a lot of people don't know about. I only discovered it maybe a year or two ago. There are 3 hardcover collections of the Young Jedi Knights books, each one having about 4 books. There's 13 books in the series, so the math doesn't work out equally. But there's 3 hardcovers, which are like effectively turns the 13 Young Jedi Knight series into a trilogy of hardbacks. And they came from Sci-Fi Book Club. They're pretty rare, pretty expensive, and oh, so desirable. And I've spent a lot of time this year just looking at those things online, looking at prices, thinking about buying them, almost buying them, not buying them. One of these days, though, it's going to be glorious. Am I right? Freddie, what are some other fun Legends books that, hey, maybe these are not our picks for the night, but what are some honorable mentions that maybe people should want to consider as some fun Legendsy gifts for friends and family this year?
I would say if you're really interested in getting somebody who hasn't really dove into Legends, or for whatever reason hasn't read any Legend or any Star Wars books, who could think that? I would go with Darth Plagueis. Yeah, Darth Plagueis would be probably one of the my opinion, one of the best books to give to somebody so they could just understand the machinations of the movies.
Absolutely. Especially if you were to go with like the quintessential Legends books, Plagueis is a good one to give. Obviously, if you're looking to be a high roller, you go for that Oh So Beautiful hardback, which Meg and I have both acquired this year because we share a Legends hive mind, and we both picked it up within a couple of weeks of each other. However, you could always go with the paperback, which is perfectly fine, a lot more accessible, a whole lot easier to get. Heir to the Empire is a good one to get. Kenobi's a good one to get. The hardback on that is especially hard to find. Definitely the top of my wish list. What are some other goods? In the Foundational 5, you can go with Revenge of the Sith. Those are all excellent in terms of some good picks. Of course, I've got to say Dark Empire is a good one to get for people, because who doesn't need some nude Palpatine for Christmas or for the holidays?
Meg, put the pictures up.
Meg, no, please, no pics. No, don't do it. My brother's watching. He's 18 now, so I guess it's okay. What else we got? Oh, one last holiday recommendation when it comes to Legends books is especially a fun pick, because this is something that we at Utini hold very close to home. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. None other than Corey Hilton himself happens to have a box full of 10 copies of iJedi. How did that happen? I don't know. Definitely wasn't us at Utini getting them for him as a gag gift, or a thank you present for all of his hard work. However, a very fun gift. You really want to celebrate Legends? Get somebody a box full of iJedis. Can you imagine anything more fun to open under the tree on Christmas morning, Freddie, than a box
Absolutely
full
not.
of iJedis?
iJedi
Not one
all the way.
iJedi, not two, but 10.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, excellent. But of course, you've got Legends art, you've got Legends books. There are lots of other fun Legendsy things that I think a lot of people don't take the time to think about as fun gifts to get for the EU fans in their life. What do we have next, Freddie?
One of the most Legends things I would say that goes along with Star Wars, just like the books do, are the Hasbro action figures. At the time, what was the company? Kenner?
It goes back and forth, doesn't it? In terms of Kenner had the license, and then Hasbro picks up the license. Mm-hmm. And at one point, Hasbro had the license, but it was like under the banner of Kenner because they acquired Kenner. It's complicated.
Yeah, and
I'm not going to pretend to be an expert.
I dabbled in it for a while, but it's definitely one of those things where it's like you've got a reprint on a different card, or the same mold on a different card, and do you really want to collect every single one of those molds? And then it gets a little tricky from there.
Yeah,
but
totally.
There's one specifically that's very Legendsy, in my opinion. I consider very Legends, is the Macquarie concept art.
Oh,
so
look
this
at
one
that.
is this one's of Boba Fett. I'm not sure if you guys can see that lighting.
Freddie didn't tell me that he brought props. This is exciting for our audio listeners. He's holding up is it the Ralph McQuarrie concept art Boba Fett?
Yeah, it's the Ralph McQuarrie concept Boba Fett. It also comes with a coin on the side.
Boba Fett the White?
Boba Fett the White, which is, imagine if they brought it back, huh?
Yeah, what would that be like?
We all know that, Favreau and all of them are watching this show to get ideas, so.
Oh, totally, absolutely. Well, we've got insiders. We've got insiders at Legends Lookback. That's a great pick. For me, when it comes to Legendsy action figures, some that I've thought about getting, and they don't obviously have to be mint in package. For some Legends fans, I just want them loose on the shelf. So they're a lot cheaper to pick up. Some fun ones that, I remember seeing these in our local bookstore when I was in high school and like almost buying them. But I was like, am I really that much into Star Wars? Turns out, yes. 10, 15 years later, I am. And I wish I had got these and didn't. There was like a collection pack with several Legendsy Sith Lords. They had Sith Lords from like KOTOR 2, Darth Nihilus, and Darth Sion. There was a pack that had Darth Revan. There's a 2-pack that has Darth Crate and one of the Imperial Knights from the Legacy series. That one's really fun. Super expensive to try to find on the aftermarket now. Anyway, these are some super fun gifts. Totally worth picking up. Action figures of Kyle Katarn and Dash Rendar would be fun. Something that I think maybe Skooma Joe, somebody in the Discord this year pointed out to me, there's actually action figures from Dark Empire. Did you know this, Freddy?
I did know of it. I haven't thought of it in a while until you brought it up right now. But yeah, there are characters.
They are clothed. So
yep, they are clothed.
Don't be afraid. But there's like, cloaked Luke looking all dark and angsty, looking like Vader without a helmet and got like big bags under his eyes. You've got Palpatine with like his high collar. He's looking young and fresh, but clothed, like I said. All kinds of fun Dark Empire action figures. They actually made quite a bit of EU action figures in the dark times, right? The 90s and into the early to mid 2000s. Got action figures for like Shadows of the Empire and even The Force Unleashed. What else when it comes to Legends action figures, Freddy? Anything we've left off the list?
Well, there's a whole selection of they're very exclusive, but I don't know if you've heard of Star Tots. It was a toy for kids at the time. They never really came out with them, but the collectors club at the Star Wars Celebration, someone usually sponsors a Star Tot and they actually make it. And it's super limited edition, but those are legends as well, because it was in my opinion, anything that was, here we go. There's a bigger camera. I don't know if you can see that.
I have no idea where you're going with this, Freddy. I've never heard of these things.
Exactly. They're so rare and hard to come by. I'm pretty sure it's like $50 per piece now.
I have to Google that.
But yeah, they're super legendsy. It was, in my opinion, it's kind of like the unreleased Star or Stormtrooper transporter from Kenner.
Yeah,
and you're starting to see a lot of these things coming into canon, which is fantastic, and it just proves to us that in order for you to be the best fan possible, you got to read Legends books and you got to watch Legends Lookback.
There you go.
That's where I was going. The whole thing was a bit. one Legends action figure that's a little bit easier to acquire. You don't have to have like the whole knowledge of all of the backstory and the Kenner line. There, one that's still fairly available on the market is the Black Series Jaina Solo action figure. This was a pretty recent. I think it won some sort of contest with the Black Series where they were letting fans choose what the next one was going to be. So there is I actually have a picture of it here for our live and YouTube listeners. Jaina Solo in her black combat starfighter suit with her purple lightsaber. It is purple, right? Absolutely excellent. That's one Legends figure I'm going to have to pick up personally, so that people can come over and say, "Who's that?" That's awesome.
And I can tell them everything they ever wanted to know about Jaina Solo. We even have the Solo Twins reading collection on Uchini.com, where you can learn and read everything you could possibly want to learn and read about Jaina Solo. Well, moving on, we've talked about Legends art, Legends books, Legends action figures. But if you really want to take your Legends fandom to the next level, if you want to have the most awkward looking gift to give somebody for the holidays, one that is a dead giveaway, as soon as you see the box, you could get them a Legends lightsaber. Freddy, if you were to get somebody one Legends lightsaber, what do you think it would be?
I'm a really, really big fan of Count Dooku's lightsaber. The shape of it, the thought that went into it, and I'm pretty sure he sorry, I'm skipping on his name right now. Anyway, he had influence on Christopher Lee. Sorry, yeah, Christopher Lee.
Because he had arthritis.
He had arthritis, but he also had influence of kind of more of like a fencing lightsaber.
Oh, that's right. He was like a duelist. Yeah.
So he wanted something that fit his styles, and of course, Mace Windu. Samuel L. Jackson specifically wanted purple. So
yeah. I think if I were to get a Count Dooku lightsaber, I would call it a Bane lightsaber, because Bane also has a red lightsaber with the curved hilt. I would just take it out of the box and call it Bane and be done with it. But an absolutely excellent one. That one's got to be fairly easy to get compared to the one that's on my list, which is one that just came out this year and is already getting pretty expensive in the aftermarket, and that is the Darth Revan lightsaber. We might even have an image of this to show off, which is pretty exciting. Obviously, in KOTOR, you are playing as, well, I guess this is spoilery. Well, so if you've never played KOTOR, I just ruined your life. I'm sorry. You're playing as Revan, and so you get the opportunity to make your lightsaber, and it's not nearly as customizable as like a modern game like Jedi Fallen Order. I spent about as much time customizing my lightsaber in that game as I did actually playing the game. Anyway, this is the canonical Legends version, at least, of Darth Revan's lightsaber. It's got the purple hilt, and it will actually, do you know this, Freddy? The one that you can buy from Hasbro, their Force Effects saber, actually comes with 2 blades. You can switch out the purple for red. So you can sport your light side, dark side Revan affiliation, whatever mood you're in. You just change that saber color. Isn't that rad?
That's awesome. I like it.
So that's obviously a pricier present, but totally a cool Legends piece of merch. Now, another option that you can go with when it comes to Legends sabers is just, hey, you don't want Revan? You don't want Count Dooku? Just make your own. Freddy, I know that you're kind of like you're big into creating the R2D2, and you're thinking about doing the Stormtrooper suit. You ever considered making your own lightsaber?
I have. I've definitely thought of it. I don't have the machining equipment. That's the hardest part to come by, the expensive part. But I've definitely thought of making my own. And of course, when I heard that Galaxy's Edge was allowing you to do that, that was one of the first things I want to do. I can't wait till you and I can stroll in together.
We're gonna do it.
Skipping into our lightsaber fashioning session.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna happen. We had plans. We had plans for May, Freddy. It was supposed to happen, but the Force had other plans in mind. When it comes to building your own lightsaber, obviously one that I would want to build is the first canonical in Legends double-bladed lightsaber, which is Exar Kun's double-bladed gold lightsaber from the Tales of the Jedi comics, which is pretty awesome. That's top of my list. If you don't want to go the double-bladed route, the possibilities are limitless, and there's all kinds of companies where you can buy the pieces and where you can customize your own, and it can get as pricey as you want it to get, but definitely a fun angle to go to express your Legends fandom. Now, something that's especially fun, at least for Meg and myself, as big fans of these, I'm not sure about you, Freddie. One other option, Meg just recently showed off her brand new Revan and Malik Funko Pops. And so you could, of course, go the Legends route with the Funkos. You've also got there's Mokori concept art Funkos. What's your stance on Funko Pops, Freddie?
Never heard of them. Just kidding. I love Funkos. They're definitely not my cup of tea. I am more of the vehicles. I've got a ton of vehicles here. I've got Y-Wings, X-Wings. I love vehicles. I love droids.
You got a sandcrawler above your head?
Yeah, you can see the sandcrawler painting up there.
I've got, what is this? Also it's a mouse droid. I forgot what this thing was called.
Still cool.
Big difference there between a sandcrawler and a mouse droid. Similar shape.
Yeah, I really like the one that you managed to pick up. The what was it? The probe droid. I like that one a lot, actually.
Yeah, that one's nice.
That's probably my favorite one.
Half price, thanks to Eric scouring those deals. Black Friday deal. He was like, "You got to get it, man." And I was like, "Okay, I'm not gonna tell my wife." Guess what? She found out. All right. Those are some really fun ones. The only other Legends Funko Pop, of course, Freddie makes a good point. Anything original trilogy or prequel trilogy, you could call it Legends if you want to. The only other one that really fits Legends is there's actually a Dark Trooper Funko Pop, and I think it's specifically the Force Unleashed 2 Dark Trooper. And if you want to know more about Dark Troopers, and oh boy, is there a lot of minutia in Legends when it comes to Dark Troopers. We just released a recent YouTube video, which was just like the full in-your-face deep dive history of the Dark Troopers, which is totally worth your time. Is excellently done. I mean, I'm somebody who kind of prides himself in feeling like they know a lot of the minute details about Star Wars. Even for me, I turned this thing on expecting to have it on the background while I did the dishes. As soon as I turned it on, I was like, oh, there's a lot of stuff here I don't know about. So when it comes to Legends Funko Pops, you pretty much just got Revan, Malik, the Dark Trooper, and then one other, the Holy Grail of Funkos. Do you know what it is, Freddie? Like the most desirable Funko Pop for a lot of Funko collectors?
I have no idea. Which one is it?
I'll give you a hint. It's the only Funko Pop with red eyes.
Are we talking Thrawn?
Thrawn. Yeah, the blue skin, the red eyes. That
Yeah.
Funko is super hard to come by. Meg, do you have a Thrawn Funko? I didn't warn Meg. I was going to ask her this one. You've got one! Meg has Thrawn! No way! Oh, look at that grin on her face. That is somebody who is quite proud of their... Is it your favorite one, Meg? Or is that'll be Phasma, right?
It's definitely the shiny Phasma is my favorite.
Yeah, the Phasma's nice, for sure. Oh, well, if you're looking to offload a Thrawn, I'll pay exactly retail price. Okay. Well, you can get about 10 times that. We've talked about some, pretty easy to come by Legendsy things you don't have to scour too hard. You don't have to think too hard to come up with these recommendations, art or books or lightsabers or Funko Pops. But now we're going to get into the nitty gritty. But first, I'm going to sip on my drink out of this gorgeous Millennium Falcon mug. I think I actually got this last holiday season. Just going to sip my drink here for a minute as we think about our next recommendation.
What are you drinking? What is that?
I actually got hot cocoa tonight, man.
Who do you think you are, Luke Skywalker?
Yeah, that's right. The next thing on our Legends list, how'd you like our bit? It's definitely the worst one we've ever done. The next item on our Legends holiday gift guide is something that's not exactly going to break the bank, but strictly speaking, it is a Legends gift. Am I right, Freddy? That
It
is
absolutely is.
Just stick a pack of hot cocoa in somebody's stocking. You could put it right inside the inside flap of Heir to the Empire. And they'll figure it out within the first 20 pages when good boy Luke Skywalker is drinking his hot cocoa. Doesn't Lando give him the hot cocoa?
Yeah, I think it's because
like,
they're
I
at
got
a
a
bar, right?
Spicy drink to hook you up with.
I'm pretty sure, if I can't remember correctly, but I'm pretty sure they were going to a bar, or he offered him like a bourbon of some sort. And
Yeah,
he was
Corellian
like,
whiskey.
I'll have a hot cocoa.
Right. Got any blue milk? And instead they gave him hot chocolate. You could put one of those Swiss mix packs in some blue milk, and I'm sure it turns out like a deep, rich shade of purple, like Mace Windu's lightsaber. Anyway, that's a kind of a fun, cheap stocking stuffer. The fact of the matter is, not all of the Legends gifts that you could get for somebody are actually physical books or action figures or things you can put on the shelf. No, our next category really is more in the digital realm. First on the list of digital things that you could get for the Legends fan in your life is an Audible subscription. Of course, we at Utini have an affiliate link where you can get one free Audible book. With a free subscription, you get one free book, and there is a ton of Legends books on Audible. Pretty much all of the Legends books in the late era of Legends, talking about like 2010 to 2014, all of those are available unabridged. So there's like, 5 a year? What are we talking? 20, 25 books there that are all unabridged. Many of them narrated by Mark Thompson. Where do you stand on the audiobooks, Freddie? Do you listen to audiobooks?
Yeah, that's probably one of the only ways I can actually consume my media is through audio. It usually while I'm driving or while I'm doing some tasks at work, but it's hard for me to sit down and
Nobody
read.
tell Freddie's bosses.
Yeah. I am my boss, just kidding.
Perfect. It's the best way to go.
Yeah, but it's audiobook is definitely the route I go, and I'm so glad for things like Audible, where we can, you can pick anything you want in the registry of Star Wars. So
yeah, absolutely. And there's tons of stuff, especially in canon, that I would recommend as well. We won't talk about those on this episode. Even some of the abridged books I would recommend, especially there's different categories of the abridged audiobooks. I won't get too in the weeds on this. I really can if you want me to. The era right before the books became unabridged, so mid to late 2000s, those books, typically you've got about a quarter of the book to a third of the book eliminated, which basically ends up being where they just abridge like the worst plot point, which honestly with some of the Legends books isn't a crime.
It's a good thing.
It's honestly not a bad way to consume. If you're just trying to plow through some Legends, there's quite a bit of like the 6 to 7 hour abridged Legends books. I would actually recommend a lot of those. The Force Unleashed, those books are good that way. Shatterpoint's good that way. Not sure what else is on that list, but there's some. The Legacy of the Force books are all in that category as well. All the Fate of the Jedi books are unabridged, though. Okay, obviously I could talk about this for a long time. Freddie, in the realm of Star Wars subscriptions, if you're not going to go the audiobook route, what else could you gift for somebody for the holidays?
If you're into subscriptions, you can always do the in Star Wars Insider. That one's a great one.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got an affiliate link for that with Uchini as well.
Yeah, Comixology, of course. You've got the Marvel Unlimited as well, and you
don't move on yet, Freddie. I'm trying to show off my Star Wars Insider. You're moving so fast. Yeah, here it is. This is the one I threw last week. It's still intact. Nobody worry. It's even got exclusive fiction. You can even back order. You can get some Star Wars Insider issues, Freddie. You just go to their website. You can order some of the old ones that have legend stories in them, which is fun.
Or you can get, of course, the Volume 1 that's coming out.
That's right.
What is it, next year?
Yeah, early, I think. I'm not sure on the date there, but it's going to have a bunch of the legend short stories, which is fun. I know it's got the Tenebrous Way, like the super mind-bendy Plagueis tie-in story from Matthew Stover. That one's crazy. So excited to have that one in print for the first time. If you're looking to go the subscription route, you can obviously do a Twitch subscription. Got tons of fun content here on Uchini.com. A lot of people, not going to pull the trigger on something like that, but you can gift it to somebody. You can even gift a sub right here while you're watching. You just click that gift a sub button. Couldn't be any easier to fill somebody's metaphorical digital stocking. We've got tons of content coming your way each and every week. We do the Living Forest podcast. You ever heard of that one, Freddie?
Yeah, I think I've heard of it a couple times.
We've also got Utini Game Nights, which has the potential to get legendsy. There's plenty of good Legends games there. And then finally, I'll say another good way to go with digital content would be a Utini Patreon subscription. We are constantly cranking out new podcasts and projects and exclusives. I mean, we went from 2 podcasts at the end of last year, Freddie. It was just us and the Living Force. How many do we have now? 8?
I'm almost positive we have like 10 now. Yeah, but it's hard to keep. It's hard to count. We've got so much good content. The thing I like about it, Jared, is not just the fact of, we've got the Living Force, which is I would call definitely our flagship. Yeah. But there, if you're just a Star Wars fan that's really into only Mandalorian, we've got stuff for you there for just Mandalorian content. And if you're more into just the crazy stuff, there's we've got light speed skipping as well, which you've been on.
Never heard of it. Yeah, Meg and I are on that all the time.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of content.
Having so much fun with it that we put it on hiatus. And Meg, your podcast cheating on us. Meg's got her own new show.
Yeah.
Tell us about calf faves, Meg.
Oh, how do I describe calf faves?
Yeah, how do you describe calf faves? That's what I want to know.
Heather and I, every time we record, we pick like a favorite Star Wars thing. So like last time we did our favorite comics. And we start talking about our favorite Star Wars things, and usually it just ends up going off the rails into something else. But it's really fun. So you can hear that. It gets a little crazy. So
last time I listened, Meg, I was out on the mountain snowboarding, just giggling like a child while snowboarding, which is just a really fun image. And then there was the Wampa attack, and it really got out of hand. No, it's absolutely one of my favorite shows. Another fun new project that we've got going from Trevor. You know him from our Darth Plagueis episode and the Death Star Plans episode. Trevor, our Legends aficionado from across the pond. He and Jose, our designer, are doing a show all about deep dives, the deepest of deep dives into random topics. They did a holiday special episode, did a Mandalorian episode, all kinds of great stuff happening over there. An excellent show, doing a great job. And I gotta say, I listen to that show a lot of times just waiting for them to make a mistake so I can try to fact correct them, and it hasn't happened yet. They're doing an excellent job.
Yeah, they go really deep on their content. If you're really into that stuff, in the behind the scenes, man, they're down there with Hades, just hanging out in the deep dives.
You know what's amazing though is that I pride myself in the amount of Star Wars books I've got. I would like to. I don't think I do yet. I would like to have the greatest Star Wars Legends book collection in the world. I don't know if I'll ever get there, However, Trevor has got me one upped. He's got, I think, twice the number of Star Wars books as me, twice double the Star Wars books, which is amazing. And honestly, as we get going in this episode, we're talking about stuff. We're talking about toys. We're talking about lightsabers, talking about books, stuff you can put on your shelves. The fact of the matter is, it's really easy to get caught up in the materialism in the holidays, isn't it, Freddie?
It really is.
That's really not what it's all about, is it?
No, it's about giving, right? It's about recognizing what you have and being thankful for it. That's, Thanksgiving is really, it should be just about getting family together, and Christmas should just be about the same thing, right? Just family together, hanging out.
It's not about the deep fried turkey.
I mean, if you really, if that's what you care about, if that's what you're thankful for, do it. But there's something charitable too that we could always do as well. So Jared, if you were, let's go with, picking a charity, giving instead of receiving, right? This is the best thing. So I'm going to start with you, buddy.
My sister-in-law, Kenna, my wife's sister, a few years ago, she started asking for people to give to a charity instead of giving her gifts for Christmas. And I was like, wow, you are the most selfless, kind-hearted person in the world. That's really nice. I want stuff, though. So in the spirit of my wonderful, beloved sister-in-law, I'd like for us to, go around and all share one good organization that we believe in is worth giving to. The charity that I've chosen to at least highlight for a minute here on the podcast is called the Botham Jean Foundation. You might have heard that name in recent years. Botham Jean was actually a classmate of mine at Harding University. I've got the hat on tonight. A friend of mine who just a couple of years ago was shot and killed in his own apartment by a Dallas police officer. It's a long, messy story. I don't want to get into it tonight, as much as to say he's really one of the most wonderful men I ever knew. Extremely selfless, great leader on campus. And so this foundation has been started on his behalf to continue in some of the works that he was passionate about, specifically actions of social justice. And I've got a link here I'm going to try to throw in the chat and also in the Discord. You could read about Botham's life. He's definitely worth learning his story. But this nonprofit organization, it is a Christian organization. And so specifically, they're funding a few different programs, a few different charities that Botham was really involved in, things such as a boys center in St. Lucia, which is where he's from, which is basically helping boys at a juvie rehab facility. There's also basically a transitional home for children between the ages 2 to 16 who are victims of child abuse and neglect. So it's a variety of charities that Botham was really involved in. It's continuing his legacy even after he's gone. What you got, Freddie? What's your pick?
So not as deep as yours. Well, I guess it can be. So believe
you don't
it or
have
not,
to one up me with the charity. It can just be charitable. It doesn't have to be a competition.
I didn't want to. I was, yours was very, very serious, and then I have this thing in here in the show notes, and because it was reminding me of what I thought about. I was reading a book about I was reading a Star Wars Legends book, and thinking about what would Mon Mothma do, right? So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, charitable organization, what would Mon Mothma do? And I think, the organization that I'm going to pitch, and that is because I am a part of it and I've gotten to see the impacts that it has on communities and stuff, but it is the Red Cross. And, especially with the fires really close to home. I mean, I'm talking not even 2 miles away, and seeing all these displaced people, homes on fire.
Yeah, man.
You get to really experience these things in real time, and you see where the money is going. And because of that, I can't help but, I guess, pitch it to as many people as I can, because, I give my time, and that's probably one of the most valuable things that I can give is time. So I give my time helping them out, basically helping my neighbors evacuate, because they are my neighbors. They're literally,
it's crazy to think about.
Area. So that's one of mine. What would Mon Mothma do?
Well, I really admire that about you, Freddie, that you volunteer at that organization. Yeah, that's crazy. Absolutely. We just think that you're a goofy Star Wars guy, but there's so much more to you under the hoodie, Freddie.
Many levels.
Absolutely. Meg, what's your pick?
Yeah. So Partners in Health, they do a lot of different things globally, but their main goal is to just make sure as many people around the world get access to healthcare as possible. Especially right now, people need testing, people need to be taken care of, and those donations go to the workers that are out there getting those resources out to people, building hospitals where there aren't any. I studied health communications in grad school, so I'm like really,
Okay.
really passionate about like just making sure everybody gets the help and care that they need because every human deserves healthcare,
Yeah.
basic healthcare. So yeah, just making sure that people get what they need. So I donate every month, and like there are actually a lot of different things that you can do through different things to donate. So definitely check that out. I will link to some things in our Discord.
Wow, you're both such wonderful people. I'm so blessed to be a part of this team. What a fun group we've got here. You're both so kind-hearted. You make me look so selfish compared to, man, such great teammates I've got here. You're gonna make me cry, Meg. Just trying to help people live. So
That's
kind.
awesome.
Okay. One other charity that we do want to highlight is in everybody's own backyard, and that is you can volunteer with your own local library. Um, Specifically, a lot of libraries have a Friends of the Library organization. You could join your own library's, volunteer organization. If for nothing else, just help them put on a Star Wars Reads Day next October. Make sure that the kids get their Baby Yoda bookmarks, okay? Everybody's got to get their Baby Yoda bookmarks this next October, and you can make it happen. Whew, making me sweat. This is so important. No, specifically, this is something I'm passionate about because in school growing up, I was looked down on for reading Star Wars books and doing book reports on Star Wars books. And I would probably think that I own more books than most of my classmates these days, even if a whole lot of them are Star Wars books. What does it matter? You can learn so many incredible lessons from these books. I say that while I look straight at Red Harvest. Hey, there's one lesson. Don't
Learn how to
get
survive.
consumed by a zombie tauntaun. Or there's one lesson. Anyway, get kids equipped with books that they want to read, no matter what the topic is. Freddie, what do you think about this? Is this a good idea?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. It honestly doesn't matter in terms of whether it's nonfiction or fiction, but Star Wars books are very much, they deal with social issues. We've had people like Cheryl and Charlie on who have pointed some things out, some really deep
Yeah,
seated things that we didn't think about at all, like abuse victims or whatever it was, and you can learn a lot of life's lessons, especially if you talk with people who read the same book as you, right? And you join a book club, or you go to your local library and you promote, or help them promote whatever it is they're trying to promote, and get everyone to read. We want more books.
that's right. Absolutely. And, one of the important points here is that you don't have to spend money to be a Star Wars fan. It's not about
Mhm.
your budget. It's not about your pocketbook. It's, of course, about the fact that you can enjoy what you want to enjoy, and you can do it as cheaply as you want to do it. And honestly, I get a ton of my Star Wars books from the library, whether it's digitally on Overdrive or Libby, or it's revisiting the Audible books that I bought 5 years ago. There's tons of free ways to engage with the fandom. You can read fanfic, you can hang out in the Utini Discord, you can watch the movies whenever they come on TV haphazardly. It's not about your ability to spend money, or it's not about the amount of merchandise that you own. I want to be really clear about that. However, we do want to give just a few more gift recommendations before we
of
wrap up
course.
the show. Just a few more. Now, on the charitable side of things, we want to say one other fun way, of course, to engage with the fandom around the holidays is to, hey, as a Legends fan, as a book fan, a Star Wars EU fan, don't just support the Galactic Empire that is Amazon. I'm not talking about Utini. I'm not talking about the Senate himself, Corey Hilton. We're just trying to keep the company afloat here. But don't just make sure all those dollars are going to the mega corporations. You can also, Meg, I think I remember you saying recently you wanted to start buying more of your Star Wars books from indie bookstores. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, that was mainly because I was frustrated with Amazon damaging another one of my books.
Well, yeah.
But
Hey,
yeah, but
it was selfish, but still, you
yeah,
can.
yeah. I mean, if local bookstores, like, they, a lot of them ship like nationwide, so like even if there isn't one close to you. Like the ones that are near me, like don't have a lot of books that I would be looking for, but like I know there's definitely things that like I can buy online and they can ship them here. So
That's an excellent point. Absolutely excellent point. I'm actually getting ready to go to the post office to mail a book tomorrow to somebody I'm buying a Star Wars book for. And my wife was telling me you can actually mail books through media mail. If you just mail the book itself, nothing else, just the book, and it's cheaper. Never even heard of that. But I'm excited to start sending books to people. All of my extra Star Wars books, the ones that, I go to the used bookstore and I'm like, hey, I don't think I have this one. And I come home and I already had 4. Those are going out to people for sure. Absolutely. Well, Freddie, I know when it comes to doing your Star Wars shopping, you have a local comic book store that you like, don't you?
Yeah.
One fun way to engage with the fandom is support your local game store, your local comic book shop. You want to talk about this one, Freddie?
This is my favorite one. So if you do, I know a lot of people get their comic books to get it mailed to them, but if you go and make a rapport with yourself at your local comic book shop
with a mask on.
With a mask on, of course. It could be a Revan mask, as long as it does the job.
That's right.
But if you go there, you will get special treatment because they've seen you, right? Like the guy I go to, he knows I like Star Wars. So anytime there's a new Star Wars comic book or anything that he gets, I have first look and first pick, of the nicest, crisp, the most crisp cover that you can find.
The other day I was in my used bookstore in a town near me and was asking them, hey, is that little selection of Star Wars books the only Star Wars books you have? And they were like, yeah, we used to have a bunch, but they've been disappearing. And I was like, okay, honestly, I'm mostly to blame for that. I bought a bunch of them. It's my fault, but I've got a Star Wars podcast. And I found myself telling them all about Legends Lookback right there in the local store. It was a ton of fun. I don't know if they were excited or terrified, but definitely one of the two. Definitely one. But Freddie, these stores, the local game stores, comic book stores, they really cultivate the nerd community in a way that provides a safe space for kids and adults, even to have people to go and play tabletop games with, and to cultivate a community around these properties that we love. And we need to, even in the digital age where we have so much of this happening in Discord and places like that, Twitter and Facebook groups, there's still something to be said about being able to make friends in real life. Yeah. And so that's one of the reasons why I think we need to do at least a small part in trying to keep these stores afloat, because they are disappearing rapidly. And pretty soon we're going to have to put a banner right up across the top of them that says Legends, because they're going to be extinct. You know what I'm saying?
Ugh, so sad.
And finally, one other somewhat charitable way to think about doing your Star Wars shopping is to support an independent artist. Now, I'm married to an independent artist, so I'm a little bit biased here. And I do know from the legal side of things, if you are going to be, shopping on Etsy or an independent artist website, you technically can't legally buy or sell property that belongs to a mega company like Disney. Now, you'll find plenty of Star Wars stuff on Etsy illicitly, so buy at your own risk. You have been warned. So it would have to be Star Wars adjacent due to copyright issues, but there's a ton of fun stuff that you can find. I got my little moisture evaporators off of Etsy.
Oh, those are so cool. Yeah.
I love these things. Did not know when they came in the mail I was going to have to assemble them myself, which was excellent. They smelled terrible right out of the package. Why? I don't know. Took like a month to get here. I think that it came from Poland. But there's all kinds of fun stuff. You just got to think outside the box. Along those lines, want to, of course, plug the Utini merch. We've got tons of stuff available on our own website, ways that you can show your support of the company and the podcast that you love, and your show your fandom on your sleeve. Literally, we just, due to our graphic designer, Jose, unveiled some new designs. We've got new Mandalorian-inspired designs, Boba Fett-inspired designs. We've got masks. We've got, everybody in my life is going to be getting Utini masks in the stocking. Have not done that yet. Need to make myself a note, because that's honestly not a bad idea at all. I got to get a new hoodie. The one that I have is like the old logo. Got to have the new logo. Brady's got him a Living Force hoodie there. It looks excellent, man. It's an extinct hoodie. Can't find that one anymore.
Special edition.
That's right. Special edition. All we need is like a big Ronto walking right in front of it. then we're definitely golden. Okay, Freddie, as we wrap up the show here, what are some last minute? It's like the ninth hour. It's like December 23rd. You're trying to come up with a last minute present. What is a wacky, crazy Star Wars gift to get for somebody who's like, a casual fan, like maybe has never heard of some of these last really fun gifts we want to make sure that we mention on the show?
Yeah, I would say I would just go out to Best Buy, get a bunch of DVD ROMs, and just burn as many of the holiday specials as you can, and just hand them out to everybody.
Oh no, the Lego holiday special off Disney Plus,
Yeah, of course.
or at least the Boba Fett cartoon. I'll claim that as Legends.
Oh, that's definitely Legends. You've got the Ewok movie DVDs, of course. You've got Sideshow Obi-Wan.
What do you mean? Wait, hold on. What do you mean DVDs? I want the cassette tapes of the Ewok movies.
Okay.
I want the VHSs.
Purists.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's if for that very special person in your life, there's a Sideshow collectible out there for them. And if you want to get into what, in my opinion, it's a mix of Legends and canon, is the Obi-Wan mythos, which is one of my favorites. And
I consider that sucker pure Legends for the time being, because that's kind of how I picture Ben in like the Kenobi novel. Yeah. I guess it's set a little bit more closely to Revenge of the Sith, but it is maybe my favorite piece of Star Wars art ever made, and it's that sculpture. It's like the half Alec Guinness, half Ewan McGregor. Mm-hmm. Is that the one you're talking about?
That's exactly the one I'm talking about.
Oh man.
Yeah, and for those of you, he's carrying his backpack. He's got his Clone Wars armor still in his backpack. He's got his macro binoculars, his both lightsabers, the whole thing, the whole shebang. And it's the artist specified that he did a mashup of Alec Guinness and Ewan McGregor's face together to create this Obi-Wan statue.
Yeah, we'll have to post it in the Discord. That's an excellent recommendation. That's one I've wanted for years. I'm going to have to pick up one of these days. The question is, where will I put it? And that's always the question with this sort of thing, isn't it? When it comes to display pieces. I know where I'm going to put the books. The books go right there on the bookshelf. The collectibles, you're going to have to make some space. I'm probably going to get rid of the cardboard R2-D2 that my daughter and I built recently. That sucker's going to hit the trash bin if I get a Mythos figure, one of those Sideshow figures. Okay, what else? One final recommendation I want to make. I got this one recently, the Heir to the Empire shirt from Out of Print. I think I wore it on the last episode. If I can get it up in front of the camera, make sure you can see Sabayat's abs real good there. I mean, this sucker is just gorgeous. I was able to get it with a discount code to make it affordable, because I never want to spend more than $20 on a t-shirt. It's even got the opening crawl from the book on the back.
Oh, that's so awesome.
It's like a good fabric too. It's not just 100% cotton. I mean, it's like it is 100% cotton, but it feels good. It doesn't feel cheap. I tried and I failed. Other fun things, and we'll wrap it up here. You could get somebody Legends video games. Freddie, what's your favorite Legends video game? If you were to get one Legendsy game for Christmas, what would it be? And don't say Star Wars Galaxy.
Let's see. I would get them. I would get them the original Rogue Squadron game to get them in the hype.
I've never played Rogue Squadron 2. So I saw somebody say today that their favorite Legends game, their favorite Star Wars game, is Rogue Squadron 2. So I'm going to have to do like a binge of the whole series one of these days. I'm deep into Squadrons right now in the story.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm like a couple missions in. It's difficult. It's really tough.
It is. Yeah.
The sticks, you got to play them just right.
I'll be right there with you.
We'll be forming the Legendsy Rogue Squadron on Squadrons before we know it. And finally, what else? Meg, you got a Legends video game you would pick? One that you haven't tried and you've thought about trying. Maybe now the holiday season, take a Christmas break. You got one that you might want to pick up?
I used to play Rogue Squadron 2 all the time, actually. But I've never played the original, so like that one. Okay. I guess, yeah. I mean, man, that was a long time ago.
That's interesting. Yeah. On the GameCube? Did you have a GameCube, Meg?
Yeah, I still have it.
Oh, nice. No way. You know what? I think my brother still has our GameCube. See if I can snag that sucker when I go home for the holidays. What else we have here? Meg, stay on with us. I want to ask you this last question too. Lightning round, right as we close out the show here, we're going to ask 2 questions, okay? 1, what's the best Star Wars gift you've ever been given? And B, what is the weirdest Star Wars gift that you've ever been given? Okay? Meg, I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this, so I'm going to give you a minute to think about it. I'll lead us off, and then I'll go to you, Freddie. The best Star Wars gift I was ever given, if I can find it, I think it's on the bottom shelf here. I'll pull it up after I answer the question. My brother got me the Jedi Path book by Daniel Wallace. It's like an in-universe handbook on like all the ways of the Jedi, and it's got like a handwriting from Luke Skywalker and Yoda in the margins. And the copy that he got me was like the one that had been sitting in our local bookstore for like a couple of years. So a lot of Star Wars nerds like us, specifically me a bunch of times, would just like take it off the shelf and read it the whole time I was in the bookstore. So by the time I actually got the book, it was already absolutely beaten up, which made it seem even more in universe, as if it had been passed from student to student to student. Anyway, it was an absolutely thoughtful gift. I loved it. Freddie, what's the best Star Wars gift you've ever been given?
I actually have it right here. It's going to be difficult, but it's the Ewok Village action play set from...
No way. Do you really?
Yeah. I don't know if
That's
you can
like
see it.
one of the holy grails of old school Star Wars toys, man.
Yeah, it's super old, and it was actually a used gift that my cousin gave to me. Had no idea that I would like it, and I was like, I was blown away. So, pretty excited about it.
Oh man, that's excellent. I've seen that in a couple of our local like nerdy collectible stores, and have almost picked that up a couple times. But let's just say it's running for a little bit more than retail price these days.
Yeah.
Meg, how about you? I'm going to show off real quick. Here's my copy of the Jedi Path.
Ooh, nice.
Very proud of it. The back of it, like the banner is like all beaten up, which I think just kind of goes to enhancing its lore. It's got like those ruffled pages, the edges that I kind of like to run my finger along it while I'm reading. It's a tactile thing. Anyway, all right, Meg, what's your pick?
I mean, I can't remember specifically which books I would have gotten, but like any time that I got a Star Wars book as a gift, that was always really cool for me because like growing up, like I grew up with one brother who was like really into Star Wars, and my dad was really into it too, and like my mom was kind of like whatever about it, and so like if she would like get me a Star Wars book, that kind of like was her way of saying like, hey, like I don't get it, but like I love you, so here's a Star Wars thing.
There you go.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's really the best. That's the most loving thing you could possibly do.
Yeah.
Get somebody something for their interest, even if it's not Star Wars, even if you don't get it and you know they love it. Like I just bought, well, hopefully he's not watching the show. My little brother-in-law, who's 13, I bought him some Magic the Gathering cards. You know what? I also bought him Pokemon cards so we can play that together. But he's more into Magic, I realize. So I got him some of those too. You know, you gotta try to appeal to their interests. Also, I'm hoping we can watch like all of The Mandalorian next time I see him. So I try to get him caught up on that as well. Okay, how about the weirdest Star Wars gift you've ever been given? I mentioned the Star Wars jelly beans early in the episode. I also was given a Star Wars Frisbee one time. And like those aren't canonical. Those aren't in Star Wars. What else? I got Star Wars glow-in-the-dark balloons. Just like the worst gift, because what are you gonna do? Blow them up for a day? Like those aren't gonna sit in the collection very well. Give me a Star Wars thing I can put on the shelf or I can watch. It was like Star Wars glow-in-the-dark balloons. Honestly, I wished I'd saved them for our 1-year anniversary podcast when I hung up the balloons that one time. And I think I had actually like used them just a couple months before that. Let my kids. It was like a rainy day. There was nothing to do. I was like, all right, we're busting out those 5-year-old balloons. We're gonna use them. How about you, Freddie? What's the weirdest Star Wars gift you've ever been given?
Okay, so one time, one of my aunts bought me a Star Wars gift. She said, I bought you a Star Wars gift. I don't know if you have it. And in my opinion, I don't care if I have it. I like doubles. It's fine with me.
Swing for it. That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you see a Star Wars thing and you think of me, please buy it. Please.
Yeah. So she opened it up. Or I opened it up, right? And then I looked at it and I looked at her and I said, thank you so much. I've always wanted this. But it was the USS Enterprise.
Oh, no. Please tell me that you blew it up with Boba Fett's rocket launching jetpack.
Well, she did give me something which I still have. I don't have the USS Enterprise, but she gave me the gift card that she used to buy it.
There
and
you
it was
go.
a Darth Vader gift card.
That's
So.
better. You kept that. Amazing. That's such a great story. We got to clip that for YouTube. That's going on it's going to be a promo right there. Meg, what's the weirdest Star Wars gift you've ever been given?
Pretty sure I got like a Star Wars toothbrush one time.
That's weird.
And I'm like, okay, awesome, I guess.
You can take it with you into the refresher.
Yeah, there you go.
Scrub the calf off your teeth. Or the Esp calf, if you are really drinking the Strom stuff. Or the hot chocolate. That's right, Freddy. That's great. Well, everybody let us know in the YouTube comments or in the Discord or wherever. Leave us a review on iTunes or Google Play, wherever, and let us know, of course, what is the best Star Wars gift you've ever been given and the weirdest Star Wars gift. What's on your Star Wars wish list for this holiday season? Let's participate in the festivities together. This has been a ton of fun, and I have absolutely loved tonight's show. That does it for this week. Thanks for joining us for Legends Look Back. Thanks especially to Meg, our producer, and to Nathan, our video editor, to Ryan, our graphic designer, and of course to everybody on the incredible Utini team who has brought us along to this point and made the show possible. Thank you especially to our incredible patrons. And like them, you can get in on the behind the scenes of Utini with access to lots of bonus shows, including Calf Faves, Bounty Hunt, Lightspeed Skipping, Star Wars Archives, Ghost Crew, and so much more. Now that we are on Twitch, you can help us out by subscribing either the old-fashioned way or with Prime Gaming. Also, remember that we want your questions. You can email us, legendslookback@utini.com, or leave us a message in the Legends Look Back Discord channel. You can also find us on Twitter. I'm at Jared Q. Mays. Freddy?
At Wake Up Freddy.
And Meg?
At Meg Dowell.
Excellent. If you're looking to buy some of these books and want to help support the show, look up a book on Utini, click the Amazon link in the profile, and we'll get a few cents to help keep the lights on. Another way to help us out and show your love, Utini, of course, you can even fill those stockings and put those gifts under the menorah or under the tree or however this works this holiday season by grabbing some swag from our merch store at utini.com/merch, including we've got Legendsy stuff with t-shirts and tanks and all kinds of fun merch over there. If you've read any of the books that we talk about on Legends Look Back, remember, you can always head on over to utini.com and leave us a review. Let us know what you think. We'd love to get your opinion, make your voice heard. But remember to keep the Utini fan code and be a force for positivity in the fandom. Freddy, Meg, everybody in the chat, listeners, may the force be with you, and happy holidays.